I wouldn't call it a pile of steaming turd, but I'd say it's a lot more sophisticated than anything anyone else has come up with, which is usually people quite like you because you've got stupid hair, or you always wear that shirt or whatever. This is my most famous shirt. This is my regular one. So it's a sort of, have I provided the opium of the people by making a house out of Lego? Is that sort of what you're saying?
Yes, although more than that, we like you and we can belong to you. And in an increasingly bland and similar world, what else do we belong to? We support our sports teams. We don't go to church much anymore.
Yes, I
Do you
see what you
I
mean. It is a sort of tribalism, yes. Well, I'm very happy to welcome you all into my toy, car, aeroplane and space travel-based flock. But all of you, seriously, welcome.
Why do they want to be there, do you think?
Well, I don't know, it's going to sound a bit like blowing my own trumpet, but I've only ever really done things I genuinely like. So, you know, I really am interested in the history of toys, and I have always wanted to make massive things out of Lego since I was a small boy. I am genuinely interested in cars. They give me a funny tingling sensation, some of them. So, you know,
Do they really do that?
Yes.
And what is it about them that gives you the tingling sensation?
Well, I don't know. I was trying to work it out the other day, and I was writing it in a column, and obviously it's always very difficult because I have to get past the barrier of the other two, just reducing it to a fatuous knob gag, which it isn't. But it does happen with cars, but it's also something that you get from, say, very interesting wristwatches or shotguns or even nicely made pieces of furniture, motorcycles. It's something to do with generally mechanical objects, and it isn't necessarily about how good they are. Like, we arrived here in a Maserati Quattroporte, and Jeremy and I both agree that it's a very flawed car. There are certain things about it that just have never worked very well, but there's something about the overall package, the shape, the smell, the word Maserati. It's just, you look at it and you think, and you get what I call the fizz, which is a physiological reaction somewhere down in my guts. I'm not a doctor. I can't explain it any more than
and
that.
it's happiness. It's pure happiness, isn't it?
It's very, you know, when you're a small child and you jump up and down on a trampoline, or sometimes you swing on a rope from a tree. You keep doing it, and then sort of at the base of your spine, just above your coccyx, you get this fantastic effervescent feeling, almost as if your body is separated into two, and there's an electrical bridge being made. It's that, but it's a bit further forward and slightly lower down.
That's exactly where it is.
Yeah. It's a small point. I mean, René Descartes would have, you know, given a name to it, and it's a gland.
And so you are the small boy who grew up and still feels that feeling, right? So there's and we get it because we all still want to feel that feeling. Everyone who's gone and had a crappy day at work and had to lick the boss's butt and struggling to pay the mortgage, everyone wants that feeling.
Yes.
And we look at you and you're feeling it on our behalf.
Yeah, well, I hope so, because that's the idea. I don't want to be accused of self-indulgence. But also, I think one of the things I discovered about the Toys programme is the history of toys is interesting. It tells us about society, the way it developed, how we thought it would turn out because they're aimed at children. It tells you about manufacturing techniques at the time and all these sort of things. That's all very academic and interesting. But when you start taking them out into the world and you have great big piles of Lego or Scalextric or railway track or something, you discover that there is in everybody an innate desire to actually simply play again, but that nobody is prepared to admit. So it just took someone, and it happened to be me, and it probably could have been a number of people, to just sort of stand on the box and go, it's okay, we can all play with the train set. And everybody went, oh, thank God for that. Off we go. Because they all wanted to do it, really. And there's also this, because there's a thread going back to childhood, when toys were very frustrating, admittedly, because you never had enough of them, but because they're linked to childhood, there's a sort of joyful innocence that sort of pushes everything else aside. Here's my Lego, you know.
It makes the world go away, and you can immerse yourself in the pure happiness of that.
Utterly, yes.
And there's also something at the end of it, isn't there? It's not ephemeral because you've built your castle or your plasticine garden or whatever the hell you made.
And you've done something creative and probably learned something useful at the same time. I'm very up for it.
You are very up for it.
Constructional toys are, everybody should do it. I mean, they have, you know, proven therapeutic values. Lego especially is given to people who have had, you know, traumas and plasticine. I mean, ever since the First World War, lumps of plasticine were given to people who had injured their hands or had arthritis, because if you squeeze it, then mould it back into a ball and squeeze it. You know, people have those elaborate spring exercises. You actually need a piece of plasticine. It will mould itself exactly to your hand and equally relieve stress in every single part of it.
You know, when you're having conversations like this, and they're lovely, And then the boys do reduce it to knob jokes.
They can do.
Yeah, yeah. Do you ever think, stop it? Do you ever think, or is that the beautiful alchemy of you lads together?
Well, I think it is part of that. I mean, I knew Richard Hammond fairly well before I did Top Gear. I knew Jeremy a bit professionally. I wouldn't claim to have known him as such. And I often ask myself, if I wasn't doing Top Gear, would I be mates with Richard Hammond and Jeremy Clarkson? And to be honest, I think I would, because they are so very different. And that's quite important to having a good time with people.
Yeah.
And it's quite important to making a television show with a bit of needle and tension. And now for this talk, we've got Greg with us, and I really like having Greg for two reasons. One is he's the complete opposite of me, because he's very sporty and fit, and he drives very fast. And secondly, he has his own range of pies, which I'm very envious of. And I'm going to start eating in a minute. That was a plug, Greg. You owe me a lot of pies.
One last question, because I'm getting the wind up from Paul. 407k. What is it like to travel at 407k? 1/3 the speed of light, as Claudine told me on that.
1/3 the speed of light. Yeah.
As Claudine told me on that.
It's about that. Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah.
It's very easy in that car.
But doesn't your brain tell your body it's not right? Because everything we know has not accustomed us to travelling at that speed.
No, it hasn't. And now this is going to sound like a slightly idiotic thing to say, but 250 miles an hour, which is pretty much what it is feels a lot faster than 200 miles an hour, which I've done, fairly regularly. Now obviously it is quite a bit faster, but at the moment it's slightly beyond the processing ability of my brain, because I'd never been that fast down at ground level. But you would probably get used to it, because of course 70 miles an hour is really faster than humans were designed to compute. I know the anthropologists say that the human body, in fact all mammals, are designed in such a way that they cannot fatally injure themselves in an impact with something solid at their maximum speed. So it doesn't matter how fast a human being can run, you cannot run into a wall fast enough to kill yourself. I mean, you'll hurt yourself quite badly.
That was clever of nature, wasn't it?
It was clever. And so things like cheetahs can run extremely fast.
Into a wall.
Into a tree or something, but they're very flexible in the middle, and they will absorb the impact. They've evolved that way. But we're not really designed to go even 30 miles an hour. People thought that the passengers on Stephenson's rocket would suffocate at 15, because it was so phenomenal.
Yes.
But the really strange thing about the high-speed run in the Bugatti is, providing you don't do anything stupid on the banking, it's quite easy, because you put your foot down and you don't take your hands off the wheel, and you wait for the little thing to go bing bong. It's like your Greg's pie is ready in the microwave. More pies, please, Greg. And it's there. But the really weird thing is, as I came off the track and came back and slowed down to 70 miles an hour, which is our motorway speed limit, I actually, for a moment, put my hand out thinking, I'll just get out now, it's rolling to a halt. And as I put my hand out, I thought, no, you idiot, it's still doing 70. It was a really uncanny feeling.
Wow. Gosh, you're having a lovely life, aren't you?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's very hot, though. I really do only have one complaint about your otherwise marvellous country, which I haven't visited until now. The pies are good. More pies, Greg. People are very nice. The buildings are good. The harbour's lovely. The ships are superb. Waiheke Island is one of the nicest places I've ever been, but it's too hot. Sorry.
It's been lovely meeting you, James. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.